where do I see Bitcoin coming down next in terms of like where do I expect a bottom formation? Well, I think that a very clear area that I will be buying a pretty good amount of BTC is this zone here. This weekly at 54,700 down to this wick low at 49K. I think we very likely put in the bottom for Bitcoin in this area. As you guys can see, during last bear market, when we came down below the 200 moving average on the weekly, we pretty much just spent a pretty good amount of time hanging out between the 200 moving average on the weekly and the 300. We spent the FTX crash barely below the 300 as well. If you look at previous cycles though, the 300 MA during the COVID crash was pretty much and practically your bottom. The first one isn't going to really help us because there wasn't enough data back then, but the idea here, guys, is I wouldn't be surprised to see the zone end up being the bottom once again, just like it was for last cycle. And so personally, like, I would be very much taking this as a buy opportunity if Bitcoin comes down to this area. This is honestly right now my base case for where I expect Bitcoin to bottom for this cycle. And I do think it's very possible Bitcoin ends up coming down and filling this zone. We do have this weekly order block, so if you want to be like a little bit cheekier with it, I actually think something like this makes even better sense, where you get buy starting at 57,400 and then pretty much just layer them down. So I'm going to very much be buying Bitcoin heavily in this zone here. And this is, like I said, guys, more long-term buys. If you look back here on BTC, once we close the weekly below the 200 on the weekly, which if right now looks like obviously we would if it closed right now, in 4 days we'll see where we are, but it wouldn't surprise me a whole lot if we close the weekly under it. After we close the weekly under the 200 in June of 2022, we spent 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. You know what? Before I bore you guys to death just counting, let's just use technology. We spent literally 273 days until March of 2023 under the weekly 200. That is a long time. 273 days. So that would be from now until March, spending it under the weekly 200. So for you guys, it's like, well, what do I do if the market's bearish and I'm looking for not only trades, but I'm like, based off of what I've told you guys on Bitcoin here, we need to start preparing for the bull market. I know it's very, very difficult to say, let's prepare for the bull market whenever everything's so bearish. I totally get it. I understand why, like, that's like, let's just say, taboo almost, because like whenever it comes to this kind of stuff, most people don't want to hear like that I'm buying whenever things are bearish. Like they're too scared. And I get it. I understand. It's all about time horizon, like the pain of the crypto markets going down. Again, guys, we hit 125k Bitcoin just last November. Like, it hasn't been that long. Just last October, I mean. Like, things may seem dire, but if you've been around previous bear markets, this is not something like new necessarily. We always get this kind of price action. Even, and I'm not even gonna lie, like, it was literally 2022, June of 2022, where we got bearish price action just like this. June of 2022, we hit $17,000 per Bitcoin, guys. $17,000 per Bitcoin is kind of interesting, right? Because if you guys know, the bottom of Bitcoin in the 2022 bear market was $15,000. And so bearish price action isn't anything that surprising. I get things feel pretty dire in the crypto markets right now. Coins are very much bearish. February lows right now also breaking. And when I mean February lows, I'm talking about the lows from back here. We're currently under those lows. Things are pretty bearish. Let's see where things go. Let's see where this dump stops. Again, like if we really like make our way down low, then I do think we're gonna get some spot orders filled. And I truly mean it. Like this is the zone that I'm looking for to get those filled. And so we're really not that far away from that potential. All right. I think we should also honestly take a look at Ethereum. We've gotten to the point on Ethereum where I do think we should be looking at this from a weekly perspective too. So let's put our parallel channel highs up here and our parallel channel lows here. So on Ethereum here, it's very clear to me, guys, that Ethereum is much weaker this bear market than last bear market. The reason I say that is last bear market on Ethereum, you guys can see the 200 and the 300 moving average, they were your support. Like this was your support. And now we on the weekly got rejected by the 2 and 300 weekly moving average. That was our highs in May. And so I think it's very easy to say, at least for now, that Ethereum is probably going to come down lower. It's going to treat the 300 and 200 as resistance for now. And I do think based off of current price action, it's probably going to come even lower. I think based off of this trend, we should have already had this bounce on Ethereum. We should have already have had a higher low. Like for example, on ETH, if we were going to see another higher low after this higher high, I think it should have been right here. But we have very clearly broken below that, and that is not good. And so now I think the idea on Ethereum is you really want to see last bear market's lows held here. Very much so. I do not think that you want to see last bear market's lows being broken below. That would be very bad. I'd be interested in longing a bounce on Ethereum next after it comes down and takes out about 1390. That's like the next area I'd be looking. So have your alert set on 1390, because if we go down there, I think that would be a good area for like a potential swing.